Now scholars have divided a haidh into 5 categories. Knowing these categories will answer many of these questions. So the first category that we have in Arabic we call her that al-'ada waqtan wa 'adadan. In this first category, this female, her period is fixed in terms of its duration and in terms of its number of days. So waqt is the duration and adad is the number of days. An example of that, she has her period on the first of every month for 6 days. The duration is fixed. It's always the beginning of the month, for instance. And the number of days are also fixed. It's 6 days, for instance. We consider her of this first category. Now, how does a woman classify herself in this category? The hadith says if she sees a regular cycle for 2 consecutive months with the same timing, the same number of days, she falls under this first category. So if for 2 consecutive months, she's having her period in the beginning of the month, roughly same time, fixed time, and same number of days, 6 days, let's say, 5 days, 7 days. If 2 consecutive months are like that, she considers herself religiously to have a regular period in terms of duration and in terms of number of days. So 2 consecutive months. If that happens, she can classify herself under this category. We have a hadith from the Imam alayhi salam in which he explains that. Now when we say the same time, the same duration, we don't mean the exact same day. If usually she is seeing, the cycle in the beginning of the month, it could be on the first day of the month, it could be the second day. It could be the 31st day of that previous month, right? So if we are within 1 or 2 days, she considers herself to be regular when it comes to her duration. So the point is the timing is fixed. There is regular intervals of timing. Whether she's going by the lunar calendar or the solar calendar, it's fixed. Every 25, 26 days. If it's every 25, 26 days, that means the duration is fixed. So we have the waqt. The second condition is the adad, the number of days. So every 25, 26 days, she has her cycle, and it continues for 6 days. If that happens 2 months, then she falls under this category. Do you have a question?
I just wanted to ask if you specified that the months have to be consecutive. Or not.
Yes, they have to be 2 consecutive months
So it can't be
for her to consider herself to have a regular cycle.
So it can't be 1 and then skip a month and then it comes in.
No. If it was 1 and then the next month she, let's say in the first month, she saw her period in the beginning of the month. In the next month, she saw it in the middle of the month. In the 3rd month, she went back to the beginning of the month. That's not a regular cycle. That falls under a different category. Or let's say in the first month, her period was 6 days. In the following month, it was 8 days. That's not a regular number. She will fall under a different category. In this category, both have to be fixed. The timing of it, every 30 days roughly, every 25 days roughly. The timing has to be fixed, right? The second condition, the number of days have to be fixed. And when we say fixed, we don't mean, an exact time, 6 days, 5 hours, 10 minutes. No. You just go by the number of days on average, 6 days. Now it could be 10 hours less, 5 hours more, that's fine. But as long as it's the same number of days. So in this category, what is the ruling? What is the ruling of a person who falls under this category? So if you see the author, he discusses this, al-ula, right? That is the first category. In this category, as soon as this person sees blood, she stops praying. And she considers herself haidh. She does not have to wait for 3 days to see that continuous blood for her to consider herself to be haidh. Why? Because she has a regular period. If for 2 consecutive months at least, her duration is fixed, the timing of it, and the number of days are fixed, that's an indication that she is now starting her cycle. So she should not wait for 3 days to see whether she's a haidh or not. The minute she sees the blood on the 25th day, and we are assuming that she regularly sees her cycle every 25 days, and the days are fixed, on the 25th day, the minute she sees the blood, she considers herself haidh. So she cannot pray anymore. It becomes haram for her to pray.
In the 3rd month or during the 2nd month?
In the 3rd month. 2 consecutive months have to pass, right? If 2 consecutive months, it becomes fixed, then she considers herself of this category. So when the 3rd month comes, she would apply this. She does not have to wait. She does not have to, for example, examine the features of the blood. What kind of blood is it? No need for that. The minute she sees the blood, she considers herself in haidh. That's if she falls under which category? This category. Yes.